What's going on, everyone? Talen here, and welcome to another Marvel Future Fight video. Alright, so in this one here, we're going to be taking a look at Deadpool and Domino's new uniforms. And yeah, I'll be giving you my thoughts and opinions on these. But before that, I'll let you know that we are still on the APK version of the game. So this is still pre-update, so these uniforms are still subject to change. The uniform bonus, the damage, the numbers, any of that stuff can still change from now until the live version. So do keep that in mind when I'm going over the uniforms here today. And also, yeah, this video is brought to you by Netmarble and the Star Agents program. So let's hop into Deadpool first here. So here we have Deadpool's Lady Deadpool uniform. Looking pretty nice if I do say so myself. Always been a big fan of Lady Deadpool. I actually have her figure sitting right behind me in a showcase. So yeah, quite happy to have this uniform in the game here. So let's go ahead and take a look what it's actually going to do for Deadpool here. Alright, so it's going to increase guaranteed dodge by 10% and increase HP by 10%. Not sure why that guaranteed dodge is so low, 10%. I don't really see that making too much of a difference in terms of survivability. But hey, who knows? Our CTPs and Ovulists have a 10% chance to proc, and we can get those to go off pretty consistently. So let's see if the dodge will do the same thing. Kind of doubt it. But anyway, the guaranteed dodge is new. The 10% HP was still on the previous uniform. If we go ahead and check over here, and the enhancements to his tier 2 and 4-star passive, the Merc with the Mouth and Healing Factor, aren't listed here on the actual uniform bonus, but they do still change to be the same as his old uniform. So his tier 2 and his 4-star passive are the same as with his X-Force uniform. And then he has 4 skill changes on top of that. The first one here stays pretty much exactly the same in terms of the text here. We still have a minus 10% all defense that stacks up to minus 50. Second skill, we still have that crit rate buff, and then I believe the burn is still the same as well. The third skill here has changed a little bit. I'm not really sure why, but they've now changed it to stack up to minus 55% ignore defense instead of minus 50%. So I'm not really sure why the extra 5% is there. I mean, hey, 5% is 5%, so I guess I'll take it. But yeah, it's gone up by 5%. And then the fourth skill here, look at this. The fourth skill now has all defense down. Stacks up to minus 55%. So Lady Deadpool here has 3 skills with all defense down, making her the queen of all defense down, because that is a lot of skills with all defense down. So with this uniform, Deadpool is going to be an amazing striker. Even though he was already an amazing striker, now she will be an even better striker for you, because when she uses the 4th skill here, you get some more all defense down. So I mean, yeah, not going to complain about that. But let's go ahead and hop into the skill preview and see what that looks like. And also, I'm hyping that up like that's some kind of crazy good thing, having that low defense down on a 4th skill. But I was trying out Lady Deadpool versus X-Force Deadpool, and the damage was pretty much the same. So the 4th skill all defense down didn't really make much of a difference when I was doing World Boss Ultimate. The test I was doing, I did not use the tier 3 skill, so I was only using skills 1 through 5. And I was using no Obelisk or CTP at all, so I can kind of get a baseline reading if that all defense down made a big difference, if the skill was hitting a lot harder or anything like that. And I didn't really see much of any change at all. I was still getting down to the 11.5 life bars on Proxima at pretty much 1 minute consistently with both uniforms. So I didn't see much of a change in damage there. But when I switched to White Fox's leadership, I should mention that all of a sudden the Lady Deadpool uniform did start doing better than the X-Force Deadpool by about 5 to 10 seconds. So having that increase for duration, maybe that's long enough for the 4th skill to kind of combine with the other skills to stack up that all defense down. But anyway, let's just get into the skills here. So first skill, spins around and just drops the bombs. So just a little bit different, I think, in terms of how many hits. And the iframe is probably slightly longer than before, because he just tossed the bombs up in the air, I think, with his previous first skill. So it's just a super quick, super short skill. And then the second skill, she just shoots that bazooka at the ground and then just starts pummeling them with, what was she doing, like an M5 up there, and just, yeah, blasting them in the face. So that's kind of funny. I like that kind of stuff. Just using the bazooka to shoot yourself in the air. Not the best use. I would not recommend that. If you have a bazooka, don't shoot it at the ground at your feet. You will not just get launched into the air and be fine. Third skill. She just takes out not a baseball bat. She uses her sword as a baseball bat and just boom, knocks those grenades up in the air, and we get the all defense down, which I actually do like that change right here, because with the X-Force uniform, he took a little while for that third skill to play out the animation for him to get the bombs to drop on the enemy for the all defense down. Well, now you can just boom, cancel it right away and then go into the other one, and you've got everything going off at once. So it's just a little bit of a time saver. So yeah, that's just me. I like that a little bit better. But now the fourth skill. So let's go ahead and let that play out here. Boom, fade to black, and then you just see those slashes going through. She spins around, and then boom, right there at the end, those explosions apply the all defense down. So you do have to wait till the end of the skill to get the all defense down. And you will notice that there is no longer like a shuriken or anything like that, so you can't really cancel out the fourth skill. If you want the all defense down, you gotta let it play all the way through. If you want to get all the damage, let it play all the way through, because it still hits just as hard as his previous fourth skill. So I still saw, you know, bars melting when you're using the fourth skill with the all defense down. So it still hits really hard, so you're not really missing out, I don't think, too much on not being able to cancel it into the fifth skill. The fifth skill is exactly the same, so we don't have any changes to the fifth skill. So overall, I do like the uniform in terms of the looks, because I've always been a fan of Lady Deadpool, but it doesn't really seem to boost up Deadpool's power by too much. Like I said, it could make him a better striker, because now you have 3 skills, or 3 chances to get the all defense down, so I could see that being a big positive. But in terms of the damage, I didn't really see a huge change in the damage despite having another skill with all defense down. Maybe once I started throwing the tier 3 skill into the mix, it might have been making more of a difference, but like I said, I was just using skills 1 through 5 to kind of get an accurate test to see if the fourth skill is really changing the damage at all. And like I said, I didn't see too much of a difference, except when I was using White Fox's leadership. Then I saw about a 5 to 10 second increase in time. Also do keep in mind that my Lady Deadpool uniform is at advanced, whereas the X-Force uniform is at mythic. So you could say that Lady Deadpool will do more damage when it gets to mythic, and it's a mythic to mythic comparison, because she's already keeping up with the mythic version of the X-Force uniform. But overall, it doesn't seem like she's going to be a huge boost for Deadpool, so you could probably just stick with your X-Force uniform and be fine. I mean, I might have to do a little more testing to see if doing like the full rotation, including the tier 3 skill, if I put on an obelisk or a CTP, if it's going to start being, you know, leaning more towards one uniform than the other. But as of right now, my conclusion is they're pretty similar in terms of damage. I'm getting the same kind of vibe as Scarlet Witch's new uniform, where it's not going to be a huge damage buff kind of thing, that the damage is still pretty similar. But again, I could be wrong on that. That's just what I've seen so far testing Deadpool out against Proxima. And I did do the run repeatedly to get a kind of accurate measure of how long it would take for the first phase of Proxima there. And it was consistently 1 minute with just a with Deadpool's own leadership. And then with White Fox's leadership, it was about 5 to 10 seconds in favor of Lady Deadpool here. So that's Deadpool. So now we're going to go ahead and hop over to, okay, well, we got to go back over here to Domino. So here we have a Domino with her Marvel Now uniform. Let's go ahead and take a look here at the uniform. We have 1 skill change, and then the uniform bonus is going to be applied to self, a 30% chance to increase critical hit damage by 100% on critical attacks, which is really nice. I do like that buff. It's same as like Victorious and Sabretooth and Namor. Namor's the other one that has it, correct? Or am I wrong about that? I think Namor has this. And those characters all hit very hard. So this definitely, this definitely is a noticeable damage boost for Domino, having this extra critical damage. And she already has extremely high critical damage just from like her base kit. And then she increases chain hit damage by 15% when attacking. So she's always going to have a 15% increase to her chain hit damage, which is okay because she does have a lot of hits. So definitely a boost to the damage. And then her only skill change is going to be her third skill here. And her third skill is now going to have damage immunity, which I really like because that's going to help keep her alive. And then the reflect has changed a little bit in terms of the text or how it reads. So it still reflects 35% of all damage, up to 40% of her attack. That's exactly the same. But now for some reason it says unconditionally and independent of defense effects of the specimen. So what I'm gathering from that is it just means that it doesn't matter any damage reduction effects the opponent has or any defense. It's going to ignore all defense. It's going to ignore their damage reduction, and whatever 35% of the damage is that she's taking is going to be reflected back as just like a pure value. Like that numerical value is the damage they're going to take. That can't be changed is kind of what I understand from that. And I don't know if that is different or not. If as of right now, characters that have reflect, if that is affected by your defense or your damage reduction. So, when you have Colossus and reflecting physical or something like that, if you're have a high defense character, if that, if he's say reflecting 40% of the damage back, if you have really high defense, that 40% of the damage is going to be reduced based off your defense or based off of your damage reduction. I am not sure on that, but I'm kind of guessing it might be, because this is reading that it's supposed to ignore all of that. So it seems like you're just going to take that damage no matter what, and it can't be changed. Again, let me know if you have a different interpretation of this skill description or anything like that. If I'm completely wrong about that, that's just how I see it. So yeah, let me know in the comments below if you have a different idea of what that could mean. So the third skill is the only change, so I guess let's just hop into that skill. So now she gets the buff right there, and it actually does some damage as well. So she throws out some grenades, and then she kind of shoots them a little bit there at the end. So a lot quicker animation as well, because before, to get that buff from the third skill, it felt like I was waiting forever for her to kind of toss up the grenades in the air, or whatever she tossed up in the air, and then you get the dice explosion, and then you get the buff. Now you can just get it right at the start here, and you get the explosion, and you have the damage immunity. She didn't have that damage immunity before, so that really helps with her survivability. So I'm quite happy about that. And then all of the other skills are going to be exactly the same, as you can see here. So, yep, all of those are the same. Boom, boom, boom. But let's go ahead and show her off a little bit to see if, with this uniform having one skill change, that doesn't really affect her damage, because, yeah, it doesn't give her a damage boost. It's only the uniform bonus effect here, and then the fact that you have the uniform all attack, all defense, that's going to be helping her out here. So let's see if that was enough to give her more relevant damage here. So we're going to go ahead and hop over to Proxima. We have stage 35 loaded up here. We've got our Magneto leadership because she's a mutant, and then we have Shuri for her tier 2 passive, and we'll see how Domino does here. And Domino has a CTP of energy on her, because she does have quite a bit of hits to take advantage of that. So let's see what she does here. Alright, so what I like to do is open up with the damage immunity here. We did trigger the our CTP, so that's not good. So I'll stall for a second here. Do that. Get our damage immunity. Hop into the fourth. Oh, I tried to hop into the fourth skill. That's the only thing I don't like about Domino is her targeting. I don't really like her targeting. Her targeting is off by quite a bit, and her fifth and fourth skill are on 8-second cooldowns, so it can throw off your obelisk quite easily, or your damage proc, I should say. So let's see if we can't finally get the proc on the fourth skill. Nope, just at the end of it. The fourth skill is the skill that I think hits the hardest, so that's the skill that I would prefer to have my damage proc on. But the fourth skill gets canceled out quite easily by Proxima just jumping away. I use the fifth skill here. We go into the third for the immunity. We try to go into the fourth for the damage, but no proc there. Use the first for that quick iframe, and then you hop into the fifth skill. So she can stay protected for pretty much the entire time, as long as you're not getting your skills interrupted or canceled by Proxima jumping away from you. And as you can see, the damage is decent. So, I mean, the damage isn't anything insane, but I do think she has good enough damage that she will be usable. So I'm quite happy about that, and I think her damage was always pretty good even without the uniform. But as you can see, those big crits are what's helping her out here. Anyway, that was a little bit slow because I've done this a few times. Usually at the 3-minute and 30-second mark here, I'm about a bar further in, so about 11.5 bars, because I usually get to the phase change where she starts throwing the spears at you at around this point right here, like 3 minutes 25 seconds, 3 minutes 30 seconds is usually when I was getting there. So I'd say that's pretty good. So I'm quite happy with the small change that she's getting, but I do think it should have been a bit more. I think they could have gave Domino a little bit more, maybe Another skill change would have helped, an all attack buff or something like that. So any of those I think would have been okay. I don't think that would have made her too strong or anything like that. So overall, I just think she has a good uniform. I wouldn't really say it's a must buy unless you really like Domino and you want to be able to use her in like War Boss Ultimate or maybe a higher stage of Shadowland or something like that, because that extra damage meter in the third skill is really nice. And then the extra damage from that crit boost kind of thing that she has right there, that chance for the extra 100% of critical damage, is quite nice. So anyway, that's going to be my kind of thoughts on these two uniforms here. Let me know what you think of them down below, and that'll be it for this video. So hope you guys enjoyed, and of course I will catch you in the next one.